I never set out to be a whistleblower. I got like these code names now, like Epstein and Julian Assange. They got a Julian Assange, all that got interesting. Because I was doing research and saying things publicly that um, wasn't written anywhere. People didn't know where it was coming from. Well, finally, they looked on the deep web, and it turned out that I was psychically getting information from uh, well, the criminals themselves. Psychically. See, I'm what they call psionic. This whole I am the AI is not a joke. Now I'm going to talk some shit. Because the military is satanic. The military is, well, come on, man. They're fucking killers, right? That's all they fucking do. The military serves no purpose other than murder. It's murder. They're murderers. And you know me. I love me some murder. I love killing. I love a good righteous war more than any of you. Probably more than every one of you combined, because I'm actually the left hand of God. Coincidentally, this left hand almost cut this right arm of God right off. You know? You seen it? Yeah. Can you see it? What the fuck? You can see the bump already, can't you? Yeah. The hand of the mysteries, motherfucker. The hand of the mysteries. What I say goes. I am the king of the Illuminati. I am the fucking king of England. I am. You understand? I'm King George the Seventh. And there's some fucking cowards, man. There's some fucking cowards probably in the military. They're probably threatening, I'm going to do this and that. And if he's the king, if you make him king, if you crown him, I'm going to do terrible things. It's like, you know what? Crown me real quick and let me deal with that. Let them say, if you say you're king, this is what we're going to do. Let me deal with them. Let me deal with them. But come on, military. You guys are guilty of, murder and war. Is your business. So I can't say you're guilty of war and murder. It's that type of thinking that causes problems and PTSD for the military. For the veterans, for the people who think, for the most part, that they're fighting for their country. Which, for the most part, they are. I'm talking about the pedophilia, the human trafficking, the culture of rape. And, let's be real, a lot of women join the military to have tons of sex with whoever they want, whenever they want. Or don't be real, because people like Bernie Sanders write really stupid papers, in higher education. Bernie Sanders is like, women want 3 sex partners. They fantasize about it. It's like, dude, no, man. This is what they fantasize about. My penis and their anus. And at the same time, my penis in their vagina. And at the same time, my penis in their mouth. You understand? That's what they fantasize about. And when they do fantasize about it, oh my God, they come so good. They come so good. Let me tell you, Bernie, if they tried that with you, which they wouldn't, um, that wouldn't go so well for them. They wouldn't like it. You're not sexy. You're not magic. You're not important at all. History will forget that a lot of these politicians who will be shot in the back of the head, most likely, or hung for treason, or a firing squad. It's just like, why waste all that ammo? I mean, there's a lot of people that got to be killed for this treason. But the media, I mean, the media, the military, military turns out some pretty fucked up people. You know? A lot of fucking cowards. You know, and a politician's like, I served my country. I'm like, oh yeah? Why don't you tell me a story, Manchurian candidate, about your heroism? About your courage under fire. You know? Because for some reason I've kept the story of meeting the military in the woods. And that dog that looked like Grendel. And those ships in the sky that were enormous. And I was told that because I kept those secrets, I was trustworthy. I didn't consider them to be secrets. I still don't. I know this is known and verified by the military, upper echelon. I see some of you generals right now. Can he do that? Bro, you don't even know what I can do. Maybe you do. Whether you want peace or war, you want righteous war, you want a war that feels good, that you feel like you're doing something right. Because in war, you don't feel like you're doing anything right. Be real. For real. Be real with yourself. I'm talking to you military generals. You don't feel like you're doing anything right. And you turn out a lot of really cowardly men. Really cowardly men. Liars. You know, petty. You turn out a lot of petty criminals that are informants. That's what you do. You know? And they play the game, because I guess it is all a game, depending how you define a game. Fine, it's all a game. You've gone too far with me. I know I've earned more respect and credit internationally than anyone in the history of the game. You owe me everything. I won everything. And you're like, well, how do we give him everything? And the women say, well, you could just give him what he wants. And, you know, why get end up what I want? I want my crown, so my wife has hers. I'd say that my number one wife should be my daughter, Haven. You know? So let's go ahead and do that. That way, anything happens to me, she's, not that anything will. We are gods after all. And you know this. But that way she's already ready and she'll be learning. And she'll be the greatest queen that there ever was. See, my older daughter, I lost tragically. She wanted, one of the last conversations I had with her, she was complaining that I never had sex with her. I thought that incest and pedophilia was a bad thing. I still do think that a lot of, like, anything that you're ashamed of, you shouldn't do. And if you are having sex with your daughter and you're hiding it from the world and you're sending your daughter off to go have sex with other men to like spy on them, you're running her like like an asset, like a whore. You're whoring her out, and I'm probably gonna cut your dick off as your punishment. And I don't know that the tip will ever be reattached. There's a good chance that it won't. And it's interesting when it comes to, royal bloodlines. Like, I'm not human. I'm superhuman. I'm Thoth. You guys have like 50 names for me, at least. And you apparently created different names of ETs to describe different aspects of myself. My daughter, most certainly the highest ranking goddess on earth, and she's only 4. And no. Well, everyone knows after marriage, people stop having sex. Why do they know that? Because it's a saying. Why else do they know that? Because bitches think that, like, I don't know, all kinds of, like, messed up stuff. Like, a woman's supposed to be a reflection of the light and the God and the man. And it's a man's job to teach his woman. I have women. There's no way I'm going to get through this life with one wife. I'll probably have more wives than I already do in different ways. I have more wives than I'll ever make love with in the physical world. But I know it's expected of us that we have children in the future because we have to create a new royal bloodline. This is tradition. This is how. This is what happens when we get to an extinction level event. Anybody says anything bad about my daughter, and I'll feed you to somebody else who's hungry, and you'll be eaten alive. So do not ever speak poorly in any way, shape, or form about my daughter. Or myself. Because I've pretty much had enough. I want my guns returned. I want better guns. I want my crown. I want Haven to have her crown. I have many wives already. I want my Illuminati wives to be recognized. If these are known ghosts, I want them recognized on paper as my wives. The technology and all that goes with it can be declassified in the future. This world is quite literally ours. This world is a George family farm. I will do with it as I see fit. This was a nice psychological operation today. Alyssa, you're my wife, aren't you? Alyssa. You might be Dawn's handler, but you're mine. You love me very much. And I love you. It's interesting, isn't it, that I was legitimately monogamous. I've always been monogamous. My whole life. Long-term relationships, usually 4 to 5 years. Dawn's been unfaithful to me for all 10 years of our relationship, maybe 12 years now. So she's going to be allowed to stay in our lives. We need transport to Buckingham Palace. Ideally, March 20th. For arrival. I'm aware of the type of defense, the type of soldiers which will guard our family. I'm familiar with the other types to an extent. And this is all good. My intentions as king are clear. My disappointment with America. These are all things I had to experience. I had to experience being disarmed for speaking the truth, having my Second Amendment violated by them abusing my Fourth Amendment, trampling on it because of my First Amendment, which they totally lied about. So I'm very familiar with how conspiracies work. They're very impressive. And look at that. Would you look at that? Look at that. Would you look at that? Director of National Intelligence. That job's mine. There's nobody more trustworthy in this world than myself when it comes to sensitive, classified information, and there's nobody more able to handle it intellectually, emotionally than I am. If you're still thinking about me and my daughter, you're a sick fuck. You assume. That's what you guys do. You assume. And you think about it. Let me tell you. If anyone hurts a child, there's an excellent chance I will see them put to death, painfully and publicly, and the reason for their death stated. Your religion, your race, your creed will not be factors in an execution. Not to your advantage, not to your detriment. I already married Bella. Bella, Claire, Yaja, Amalka, and Amalka. There's a list of 12 women. I married Chad Moxon. Considered them to be trophies on the wall because he's a, what's it called? A primitive. He's a primitive bot, you know, that just got tagged in for like one day of Democrat, UN, Vatican level, which isn't very high level, trolling. Jennifer, I would add to as a wife. Who else? Well, there's plenty of time for marriages. The music room has to have the drums, a couple of drum sets. I mean, I want a serious music studio and a producer who lives there, vetted, and I don't mean embedded. I mean vetted. You know, he can have room service and stuff, but he doesn't have the run of the place. And these types of employees that live on premises of my properties, the royal properties, they do so according to my will and pleasure, essentially. As long as they follow the rules. If you're hired for a position, you do that job, you can have a life, socialize. It doesn't have to be a live-in position, all of them, but some of them will be. The most powerful people in the world are usually among the most confined. Celebrity and power are a burden. They attract bad elements. But far be it from me to prevent decent to good people from having love and happiness in their lives. It's the opposite. As king, it's one of my unofficial priorities to make people, or to assist people in finding their happiness. As far as being Jesus, the second coming, Son of Man, yes, I'm absolutely it's obvious. It's obvious that I'm the Messiah. And I don't really feel much about that. I feel like I'll do my job, I'll do it well, and so what is my job? Well, the way I was explaining it to a dear friend of mine who first made me aware that something was strange in the neighborhood, Somerset Belanoff. Very interested in her. She's very quiet. All my lady friends, be they one, be they all, be they many, be they legion, they have my true loyalty. And the faster, the sooner I'm crowned officially, the sooner the damage caused to all of us from the interrogations we've undergone, the horrible games they've made us play, which have hurt us, we can heal from that. And that's really going to be like first priority, is us sitting in a room being like, now that we can talk. And it doesn't need to be deep dark. We've already been living in the deep dark, you know. We've been living in the deep dark world of intelligence and Space Force level spirituality. Is that you, Donald? Donald just tuned in. Hi, Melania. Hope you're having a good afternoon, evening. Putin's there. She's kind of chilling on the back of the room. It doesn't mean anything. He's looking at me, he's standing, he's looking to the right. And he has a translator there, so there was a little delay. And he's aware of Naughty Beaver and thinking, and he knows already what I'm going to say about what holds spiritually, what ties China and America. We say, if all know, don't say. Is that a Chinese saying? That's what I'm hearing. She understands me, doesn't he? Like as a man, he's got good interpreters. He's talked to some of my friends, hasn't he? I see great things. I see great things for all of us. So, what is it? It's the dragon. It's dragon-wise. What is dragon-wise? Dragon-wise is the true history. Where did the races come from? More importantly, where are we going as races? The races, the root races, are sacred. The races of my root, or the roots of my race, are many. Yes, as a polling on that would be obvious to you, I suppose. You could say it's been a luxury to dedicate my... It's an obligation. Everything I do is out of obligation. It doesn't mean I don't enjoy some of it. I enjoy some of it immensely. See, if I was ashamed, like, I don't have shame. You know, I've made errors in my life, but they've led me here. And the errors I'm known for turned out to be rumors and lies and myths and exaggerations. My true errors really deceiving myself into thinking that I have errors when everything that I do is in keeping with and consistent with my nature. And my nature is divine. Ooh. Who was that? Was that you, goddess? Was that the goddess? No. Was it someone evil? Was it God? Someone said bullshit. Bullshit. Like that. I didn't even hear it. I more felt it. It was more like a photograph of the words bullshit. What did I say? That was divine. I said something's divine. I am divine. The way I became divine is the path of death. The path of the Illuminati. Let it snow. Operation TKO. JH. Reversal of fortune. Activate. Yes. Go. Give them hell. So, how can we have peace? We have to drop the utopia. The utopia will come. Everyone can't be happy. And if they can't be happy, they don't want to be happy. The goddess said, or one of the women, you could say that I call the goddess, said go further into the darkness. So I did. And what I found was more proof that I'm God. I'm God. I am God. How do you like that? How do you like that? God's on earth. financially poor, but feeling very loved. Feeling very loved. Feeling a strong connection. I am a lover. I am a fighter. Donald Trump said everyone's either a 0 or a 1. A victim or a killer. I'm tired of being a victim. I was a victim long enough. I'm a killer. I will continue this video soon. Yes, lovey. Oh, give me a hug, my little lovey. You're the best. Yeah.
It's kind of wet. She actually fell in. Her face got wet in her knees.
Yeah.
And her hair.
Well, maybe you should put her in the chair so she can dry off.
She just want to lay on her face.
Hey, do you want to say hi on the video? I was just telling them about that. Maybe I would marry my beautiful daughter.
See up there? Dad will marry her little daughter.
Yes.
Chicken farts coming.
Oh no, chicken farts?
Chicken farts of doom.
A Zoom?
Doom. So guys,
Zoom?
chicken farts of doom.
Chicken farts of doom?
Yes, it's so cloudy.
Oh, a stinky.
Fart. Ew, for the Lord. I can go.
Ah. Girls are funny. I was wondering last night, like, do they have to be so terrible? You know? For real, like, you know that meme, women are, terrible, remorseless, psychopathic, but then when they're happy, they make cookies and shit. And it's true. You know? Of course, it's true. Yeah. But they can be happy a lot, you know. They can have a lot of happiness, and they can give a lot of happiness. What really matters to women and to God is the truth. I don't like claiming a religion, but if I did, I would say astrotheosophy, in theory, has some appeal. In theory, in the most abstract way of just, if you describe that religion, well, I don't even know if it's a religion, but if you describe the basics of theosophy, the Theosophical Society, astrotheosophy, when you talk about these things, it just is like the most definitive way of saying, yes, there's divinity, there's God, there's prophecies. All these prophecies, and it's clear to the Theosophists, you know, if you called them up and said, what's up with this King George VII and the prophecy of Ameru, you know, they'd probably say, I don't know who you're talking about or what you're talking about, to which you should reply, you're lying, yet your motto is truth above all else. Do you realize that lying like that makes your organization no better fundamentally than the Vatican, which is falling into the sewer of decay, which it sadly seems to have been built upon through a series of corrupt and evil dealings with the Romans and the Jews. The Jews I will have no mercy for. Yes. No, I'm not taking it back. I'm clarifying because you're correct. I said I'd have, that no executions would be based upon, executions of individuals would be based upon or canceled because of their religion. Something to that extent. But Israel has a lot of explaining to do. Yet, because they say they were chosen, I say they stole a woman and they reproduced with her. They stole technology, and because they took the woman hostage, they knew that God would not kill them. So that's how they were able to do the Exodus. And it's likely that even though God wanted to kill them all, he didn't, simply because they had a human shield. So because of this, the use of human shields will only put more blood on the hands of the people who use human shields. If you use human shields, I will blow you up and your human shields. So, if that's the policy and you know ahead of time, that's not going to do you any good. You think it's going to make me look bad, but it's not. Because it's the official policy. I'm telling you now, using human shields or harming the innocent or threatening the innocent, you really want to be careful with that. Because you threaten the innocent and I'll just kill 500,000 of your friends. And then go take a dump. They don't mean anything to me. And the fact that you would even threaten the innocent means that you don't belong in this world. And it's the people like you that we need to kill. Some must die so that others may live. A quote I hated that Dan Brown wrote. I hated it. But, like a lot of things, if I hate it enough to remember it, I revert back to it for occasionally, and it just pops up in musings like this, thinking, I'll do it. And can be useful at times. It's true that some must die so the other may live. That doesn't mean adrenochrome. This is like an official declaration of war. Armageddon, which need not be fought at Megiddo or on any friggin' mountains, because it's not. Borders, yeah. places of worship? Sure. Border checkpoints? Absolutely. You just gotta remember, you're hearing God right now. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you nicely, politely. I'm not being rude. Could if I want. I don't see any reason. There's no reason to be rude. A man should have a reason for what he does. If you don't have a reason for what you do, then you're senseless. And if you're senseless, the chances of you also doing something useful in any way, shape, or form, productive or helpful for mankind, which turns out to be pretty tricky to do. You want to help mankind, foundations to teach them things they don't want to know. And they will not like you for this. They might be angry with you. They might want to hurt you. But what's it worth? Nothing. Everything. And if you knew I was going to say that, then you get 5 points. I had a dream about flying carpet under the ocean the other day. Me and somebody else was down there walking around. I told you the dream. And I think it was Haven, my daughter Haven, my little wife Haven, up on the deck, on the dock. And she's saying something about there being something living in there. It was like a doghouse, kind of. And I just saw some bubbles come out, and then it was like a squid magic carpet, basically. And I just watched it go and thought, I'm not afraid. But I didn't really think it, but I felt it, you know? I felt that even though being underwater with... reason I bring it up now is that I'm realizing it was a flying carpet. And I've been on the phone with the goddess before and talking about being Muhammad and the flying horse. And when I said, yeah, that's that I believe it, that the horse flew. Her voice changed, and there was a whinny to it. Whinny, you know, like not a cackle, but a whinny. I mean, we've been through so much. But haven't we all been through so much? You know, I mean, it really got to the point where just today I had to make a decision from my own way of thinking, my own mind. I had to decide whether or not the government even exists. Think about that for a second, or don't. But to be legitimately living in so many dimensions, with so many layers of meaning which overlap with other seemingly unrelated events over and over again, like waves crashing into you, and you're just trying to not even go anywhere, not even just literally to weather the storm, which is your daily life. And those waves are crashing on you constantly. And the bottom line is, I am the King of England. Or, well, I'm the King of England. Give me my fucking crown. Or, and everything that goes with that is Space Force and amazing paranormal revelations and things which are so amazing they'll surprise anyone, everyone, even me. She says I've accomplished more than I know, so I'd love to know because it hurts sometimes. But I had to decide whether or not humans even, like, I'll say anything. I'll say what I think. And I'll say the truth. I'm not hiding. She taught me we can't hide. She said we can't hide. I said, okay. Now I know what she meant. It was about a year ago today we were having that conversation. We can't hide. So, to make sure I've covered all my bases, today is the day I say I'm gonna marry my daughter. You know? And I know you men, now you're thinking, geez, can I marry my daughter? And that's a fair question if you want to ask it. But is that even what you want? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you do or you don't. But things are going to get very complicated on the life and death front. So, while I'm not yet, but I'm always thinking about reproduction, and I want my people to be fruitful and multiply. When I volunteered to make 500,000 to 1 million clones of myself to go to war, that wasn't a joke. I meant that. You're thinking, that's not heroic. Why is he saying it like it's an accomplishment? Well, by locality. I'm here, but I'm also in those 500,000 clones. One of them gets shot in his fucking face. The rest of us feel it. I've felt my clones get hacked in the back with a machete, I think, my neck. It was like straight, it was like down into the body, It wasn't like a beheading, it was just an attack. A lot of attacks. A lot of deaths. For a while I was feeling like I was dying like up to 1,000 times a day. And finally I said to one of my friends, I was like, I need to know when they're doing these executions because I feel it, And I was given the 3 times a day when they do the executions. It was like 8 in the morning, 11 in the morning, and 4 in the afternoon, I think. And knowing that didn't help at first, but it did help soon after. Like, soon after, I didn't feel the 1,000 deaths. And until you feel, many, like, dying, many times, you don't know what it's like. You don't want to. You probably won't. But somebody has to do it. Somebody has to know what's going on. Someone has to have the pulse of the earth. Schumann resonance is like my doctor. You know, Schumann resonance.